So what's next on the cards for you?
Just working. I'm trying to decide what my next album should be, and so I'm working around playing with some songs. I'm thinking about maybe doing a Johnny Mercer album. He's wonderful, unbelievable. He collaborated with, he wrote 1,500 songs. He was the most prolific of anybody in the Great American Songbook. And he's a Southern guy, and so I relate. and he collaborated with 250 different composers. Most people wrote with one or two guys. Johnny Mercer wrote with over 250 different composers. He started Capitol Records. He was a record producer as well. He's signed to Nat King Cole and all those people. So there's a lot about Johnny Mercer I relate to. That's one thing I'm thinking about doing. Another thing is Mike Stoller is a very good friend of mine from Lieber and Stoller, and Carole King and Barry Mann and Cynthia Weil were my partners. And in December we did a 80th birthday celebration for Mike Stoller, and we all went and sang Lieber and Stoller songs. And I got to their songs were my biggest influence in music, because when I lived in Houston, I heard what they were doing with Benny King and the Drifters, and how they took R&B, Spanish Harlem, they took all these great R&B feels and added orchestras to them. I thought I died and went to heaven. I had to go to New York. That's what got me to New York. I wanted to work with those guys, so at Mike's birthday, I got to sing "Stand By Me" at the end of the show. I'm going to do it in my concert with the symphony. I got to sing "Stand By Me" with Benny King at the end of the show, and so that's another possibility of doing maybe a Brill Building type album too.
Who have you not worked with that you would like to work with?
Oh, lots of people, but that I've not worked. I don't know. I mean, lots of people.
Everyone.
That I've not worked with?
Yeah, I mean, who is it that one person that you want to work with and it just hasn't come about yet?
I don't know. I'd like to work with Tony Bennett, We've never had the opportunity to, although we know each other, and he came to see me in London once and drew me. It's one of my proud possessions I have hanging on my wall, is Tony Bennett's sketch of me, Yes. But I would love to work with him. I'd love to work with Sting. I have so many musical heroes. I love Don Henley. Man, I think that guy, and Glenn Frey, I think the Eagles are about as good as you could possibly ever get. And they made a timeless kind of music in their own way that I think is just as relevant as any music that's ever been made. Their songs are not, regular old "I love you, you love me" songs. Their harmonies are unbelievable. And, so I don't know what I would ever do. Glenn Frey is a friend of mine. When my very first album was, and he did a standards album. He loves standards. Did you know that?
No, I did not.
My first album was out. I got a call from the record company who said that Glenn Frey had called Atlantic Records and ordered 100 of my album, and he was going to give it as his Christmas present. So that opened the door for us to become friends, and he did some promotion for me on my second album, But I think those guys are amazing. I think Sting, did I say Sting?
You did.
I mean, he's done Michael Bublé. I've just gotten to know, and I think Michael has taken this music to. See, I believe that when you get the right messenger for the Great American Songbook, it will live forever. As long, all of a sudden, this is supposed to be old people's music, but when Michael Bublé sings it, all these young people that had never heard it go, "Man, this is good," and because he's the messenger for this generation.
Jamie Cullum has done something.
He's awesome too. Yeah. I love him. But Michael's taken it to stadiums. I mean, he's become a superstar, and I don't know who else would it be. But those. Oh well, I mean, when you talk about Rod, for instance, Rod took this music. He was like me. He grew up, and this was his parents' music. So he always loved it, but he never sang it. He was into R&B, just like me, and Sam Cooke and Otis Redding, and all of our heroes were Rod's heroes. But when he sang the Great American Songbook, he also started by, he heard my album, and that's how we became friends. He took it to another generation of people that were like hippies, and 70s rockers and all of a sudden they're going, wow, this is great music. I think that the difference in the Great American Songbook from music of like the 60s on is that you can love 25 versions of the same song. You could love 50 versions. They don't seem to. You could like my version of a song, Rod's, Frank Sinatra's, Ella Fitzgerald, Billie Holiday, Michael Bublé. It doesn't register. You just like the song. Songs from the 60s on, the more modern songs in the Great American Songbook, doesn't work that way. You don't want to hear 25 versions of Fire and Rain.
Yep.
And it doesn't mean that Fire and Rain and James is not just as great an artist, but the songs got more personal or something. And you don't want to hear, maybe sometimes you hear a second version, but you don't want to hear 25 versions of Goodbye Yellow Brick Road, or any of the pop songs, or even the Beatles songs.
Well, no, people usually just compare them to the Beatles. They say that doesn't sound as good.
Yeah, well, you don't compare these.
Tough. Yeah.
You like my version of The Way You Look Tonight? That's cool. You like Frank Sinatra's? That's cool too. Michael Bublé told me that his mother said that if he didn't record The Way You Look Tonight on his first album, she wouldn't buy it. Nice. She told me the same thing. I've met his mother. So it's just like the songs are the stars, really.
Yep. Just passed down from singer to singer and generation to generation.
And we get to sing them,
What can people look forward to tomorrow night with the Houston Symphony?
Well, it's a collection of songs that I've put together over my 10 albums.
Do you want to leak any of those songs?
Leak any of them? Sure. There'll be some Sammy Cahn in there. There'll be some songs from the movies I've sung in. Some Gershwin songs, like I sang I Got a Crush on You in Jack Nicholson's movie, Something's Got to Give. So there's a couple of movie spots. Bird Backrack. I'll do some songs of Bird and Howls at the end. And I'll do Mike's song, Stand By Me. I get everybody on stage. We'll all sing it together. So it covers a whole, but mostly the Great American Songbook up to Burt Backrack, and then we'll slip into Bird and a little bit of Lieber and Stoller.
Fabulous. Steve Tyrell, thank you so much for joining me for this conversation today.
My pleasure. My pleasure.